getting old.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Jerry, my son the other day was talking about maybe becoming, going to getting a degree in political science, going to law school. I said, no, then you'll end up like Venezia.
That's what I took.
Venezia.
Political science.
Yeah, it's between business economics and he loves history, political science. He loves that
There's
stuff.
nothing scientific about it, by the way.
No, I know.
Exactly.
Thank you.
He really, I think he wants to go into economics.
Enjoy.
Looks like we get technical problems. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I should be able to fix that since I'm now on the NORCAB advisory board.
Well, if you can't fix it, we're going to blame you for it. This should be all squared away.
Since we're not live, can I ask a question? Someone asked me. Is the tables and chairs,
Okay. Right now?
Building project? All included in that price.
but does the refund amount include that?
Yes, that covers.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, that's covered. So he's ready? You all set?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we'll resume the meeting. We had previously opened at 6:30 PM for an executive session. It's February 27th, meeting of the North Reading School Committee. First item on the agenda is public input. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to be heard, please step forward, identify yourself, and you shall be heard. Okay, hearing none. Next on the agenda is our student report. Tonight's student representative is Josh Interico. Josh, the floor is yours.
All right. Student report. March 13th, which is the Adventure Club, will be going to Sky Zone, which is indoor trampoline fun. Looks really cool. Maskers is at Drama Fest right now down in Holliston. SAD is hosting a volleyball tournament on March 16th. Wednesday, February 29th, the girls' basketball will be playing at St. Mary's in Lynn at 7 p.m. Student Council is going to Hyannis next Wednesday through Friday.
Not yet, they're not.
We have to approve it.
Preseason track and as well as all spring sports are starting up. Spring sports start March 19th. Parents Association is hosting a hypnotist on March 28th. It's at the high school. Tickets are $10. March 9th, we have a half day. It's next Friday, I believe. Sophomores are getting ready for English MCAS, which is March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And then we have the Winter Sports Awards at the high school on March 6th.
Thank you, Josh.
And I have my student work. For this assignment, we just had it's for AP English Language, which is a new class this year. We're just we're reading Sedaris, Me Talk Pretty One Day, which is a book about it's like a comedian who writes about personal experiences, and we had to write a memoir from our previous education. I wrote about my first day of first grade, which was a little intimidating to me. I didn't go to kindergarten in North Reading, and
Well, you did better than that. You
Went to
Woburn.
Woburn.
Yeah.
I know. Mr. Nelson, Mr. Venezia, products of the Woburn school system. So you're in good company.
Anners.
So you came here with a head start.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really have a lot of friends, so I was really nervous, and it's all new experience to me. So.
Did you write this from real exact memory, or did you
Yeah,
kind of make it up a little
from
bit?
what I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
I have no recollection of that period of my life.
I do, but
All
only
through
bad
the 4th
things.
grade.
I only go back to the late 50s.
There's a typo near the end of the first line.
6.
Any questions for Josh regarding the student report or the work?
You didn't get in any trouble in your first day, did you?
No.
No trouble. That's good.
Hey, Josh, thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh.
And obviously, you can feel free to leave. I know you have school tomorrow, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Josh.
right, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Next on the agenda, we have continuing business, and that includes the SSBC update, and I'm going to ask the superintendent to deliver that.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize that the chair of the SSBC, Chuck Carucci, is in the audience this evening, and he's
I didn't recognize him. That's Chuck Carucci.
Yes. The last SSBC meeting was held on Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. The CM at-risk RFQ submissions were due on February 15th, and there were 6 submissions. And a subcommittee was charged with the review and scoring process to be completed by last week, February 22nd. And then it was compiled by our OPM, and I believe Mr. Bowers was on that subcommittee.
Mr. Bowers is on that
Six,
subcommittee.
six great contractors.
Good.
Yes. So the results will be shared with the entire committee at our next SSBC meeting.
Kathy, and just one
Yes.
thing to, and maybe Clip, but one thing to explain there, the CM at risk means we get more reimbursement from the state on this project, correct?
Right.
You do
And
get extra points for that.
Right.
That's one of the features of it.
Yes, and it also hopefully save us money on the project is the other,
That's the more important.
correct,
one.
correct.
Thank you. A technology meeting with NORCAM was held on Friday, February 17th from 10 to 11 a.m. to review the location of the INET in the new high school. And I've recently received the minutes of that meeting, and they talked about an awful lot. There will be other meetings to come, but it was a very productive meeting. Not only did they talk about the location of the INET, but they also started to talk about the technology in each of the classrooms, as well as in the common areas, as well as beginning conversations regarding the TV studio to be located in the high school. It was a lengthy meeting. It went on beyond an hour. There is an abutters hearing meeting scheduled for Tuesday, February 28th, that's tomorrow, beginning at 7 p.m. in the middle school large group room. Jeff Simons, the chair of the Ballot Questions Committee, addressed the SSBC and described the many initiatives that are underway. Members of the SSBC, the school committee, and the Board of Selectmen attended a campaign finance information seminar on Wednesday, February 15th at 7 p.m. in the Selectmen's meeting room. And this was arranged by our town clerk, Barbara Stats. And the person that attended was the Office of Campaign and Political Finance Director, Michael Sullivan, and he made the presentation. I attended, Mel, you were there.
It was really good.
It was very
It
informative.
was excellent, yeah.
I'm very glad that we had that opportunity to ask lots of questions and receive clarification on what we can and cannot do as public employees. A special town meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 19th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium, and a special election is scheduled for Saturday, March 24th at St. Teresa's Church. The next meeting of the SSBC is scheduled for Tuesday, March 6th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. in the high school modular cafeteria.
Thank you, Kathy. Chuck, did you want to add anything?
Well, I think she covered everything I was gonna say, except, tomorrow night's meeting here at the middle school. If anybody's interested that's out there in the audience, they can come and also participate.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not just for butters, anybody who wants to come and
Anybody who
Anybody.
wants
ask
to- that's
questions and,
One of the main reasons I came tonight, just to reinforce that anybody can attend this meeting.
Good.
The more the merrier, you get more information out there.
and
The other thing, I don't know how far I can go with this, is that I feel bad that the school committee took a little beating in the letter to the editor this week from the former building inspector. Somewhere or another, I wish some of these people would show up at some of these forums that we had, these meetings, to ask questions that we could point out to answer these questions. All right?
I think Mr. Bowers actually wanted to address that same issue tonight.
And keeping in mind, some of these things can be taken out of context, too. That's the thing, you know.
True, but I would like people to show up if they really have a vested interest in anything that's going on.
I agree.
That's one of the reasons why I came tonight.
Cliff, you want to segue in?
I think that it's important for the people out there to realize that we're not having kids go to unsafe schools. There is, in fact, asbestos in the schools. It's encapsulated. It's immobilized. We do not have sprinklers in the system. That is, in fact, a deviation from code. I suppose it's not a code violation technically, but all schools today that are built are required to have sprinklers, and we have sprinklers only in the old auto shop, which is now an art room. but the rest of the schools do not have sprinklers. Is that an imminent safety feature for the children? Probably not imminent, but we'd like to correct that. There are other issues like that throughout the school, and those need to be addressed. I think one of the things that Mr. Kenny did mention was that these things should be addressed promptly by the school committee. We are actually working very, very diligently at getting past go of that and to address all of the issues that are present at the schools, and that's in the new program. So I think that's the key thing.
Thank you, Cliff.
I think to make it clear, the way I understand it is, as the buildings stand today, there are no code violations. However, if we decided to undertake any projects, additions, repairs of a certain magnitude when it comes to dollars, we would have code violations. And I think, that's the issue.
We'd have to implement a lot of things to be in compliance with
Exactly.
the code.
And there's also handicap access issues at the schools.
And on the asbestos issue, I mean, clearly there's asbestos in both schools. It's not a danger.
Right.
But if we try to do anything, repairs or otherwise,
We have
that we're
to.
going to have to deal with the
We have
asbestos
to remediate
abatement,
the asbestos,
like we've done
right.
in other projects at the other schools. So there was no intent by anybody to mislead anyone or to make anybody think the buildings were unsafe, or that there were code violations when there aren't. I think it was a little bit misconstrued, and it just, as Chuck said, best way to get that clarified is to come to the meetings and to discuss it with the committee.
The other thing I wanted to point out is there's been, a few people are intimating that we're rushing this project through. I don't think I've ever, if this is being rushed through, I'd hate to be on a project that was moving along at an even pace, because this thing, Mr. Carucci had black hair when we started this project. I mean, this thing has been going on for what, 7, 8?
Well, this is 7, but I've been at it for 12 years.
Correct.
And Chuck and Cliff and I haven't got that much time left. I mean, this has got to get done relatively soon.
So
to
we're
be honest with you.
I just want to reassure the community, we're not rushing anything through.
No.
And we're moving along in every step with the MSBA, because we can't do otherwise.
But a little bit to that point, we haven't really been able to move any faster than we have moved up to this point.
We're right on
But-
schedule as far as
But with a positive
MSBA.
vote, you'll be very surprised at how fast this project moves.
Correct.
We expect to have a contractor, a construction manager on board by mid-April with the vote. The vote's going the right way on the 21st.
And again, our main
19th
objective,
and
the school
24th.
committee, the secondary school building committee, is to get the information out. So as Chuck suggested, everybody's free to come to the SSBC meetings. The next one is Tuesday. What was the date on that? March 6th. We have the abutters meeting tomorrow. They can go onto the website. The website not only gives you information about the project, but it tells you a number of upcoming events where there'll be people from the secondary school building committee there to answer questions or to do a mini presentation for you. So
The folks that put the website together, both websites that are running currently, have done a fantastic job, and there's a huge amount of information available. Virtually everything is right there and open for everybody to look at.
And this is on the agenda every single school committee meeting as well. So anybody that has any questions, come to the school committee meeting if it's convenient. And we want to get the information out, so when people go to vote, both on March 19th and March 24th, they're well informed. And I'm sure on March 19th, at the special town meeting, we're going to have a presentation that'll give, most of the information that we've already been talking about.
And we do have one more school committee meeting before the town meeting and the vote, which will be March 12th.
Right.
I did want to add one other thing related to my new position on the NORCAM board. There were a couple things suggested the other night, and I'll raise some of those later when I give a report on that meeting. But one of the things that was pointed out was at the new Woburn High School, they put in the robotic cameras in the gymnasium and in the performance center, the auditorium of the performance center. And they then could broadcast either live, or they could tape sporting events, concerts, plays, whatever. And those are all remotely operated. I think it's very similar to the cameras they put in at the selectman's office in Town Hall. So I'm not sure what our budget calls for in terms of furniture and other things we can add. I wanted to bring this up as
Great
an
idea.
idea. have it run by the architect and the designers, see what the cost might be, and then maybe we can talk to, or I can talk to the NORCAM board about how much they could contribute to that cost for putting those
That's